Hey guys, Justin Nelson again here with the Icon Podcast. If you can notice, I am not in my home environment still living on the road, training and teaching, this time in Denver, Colorado. But I am super excited to have our next guest on the show today, Robbie. And Robbie, I just want to say I'm super excited to have you here, and thanks for taking time out of a chaotic week for you guys to jump on here with us.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So as always, guys, we're interviewing the top 2% of the EXP agents that have achieved the Icon status, picking their brains over the next 15 to 20 minutes just to learn all about their business and kind of what the Icon Award means to them. So, Robbie, a lot of people listening here don't know a lot about you. I've heard quite a bit about you from some of my close colleagues that have done referrals with you and know you from the EXP world and some of your past businesses. So would love for you just to kind of share a little bit of your elevator pitch story of your real estate journey and what you guys are kind of up to these days.
Well, man, just I started out in April of 2006 as an individual agent. I worked as an individual agent for roughly 6 years. I've been running a team for the last 8. Hired my first admin in 2012, I think. My lovely bride actually, gave me the threat: if you don't get some help, you're going to be in trouble. I was running 95 deals all by myself with no admin, no help, working just an insane amount of hours every day. I'm sure everybody that's run this Icon road by themselves on me can probably know what that feeling feels like. So, that's actually jumped out. Now we've been running a team. We're a team of 9 over here. Projected this year for 2020, we'll be on pace for 215 units. We're up to right around 50 million. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So where has your real estate journey taken you? Have you always been at the same company? I mean, obviously not being 2006, but where has that kind of led you? And kind of leads us into our first question on top of that is, what was the main reason why you jumped over to EXP when you made a move?
Well, I was with the market leader here in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's an independent company. Van Eaton and Romero is a locally owned family company for 40 years. We had 350-ish agents.
Wow.
Over there. We held a pretty strong 30% market share. The agents that were out there, and at the time it was like, hey, who's the biggest one? I'm going to just go ahead and leverage my name against a big brand.
Yep.
And from year one, or the first 6 months or 8 months of selling in that year was, I think I did 32 homes that year. Then it was 45. And I ended up just leveraging my name out there. And eventually we just started doing the team. And then, to be brutally honest, I've known about EXP since 2010. And right now I'm kind of kicking myself because I could have had all kinds of stock at, 10 cents a share.
Yeah.
And then, I'd be very, very happy at the moment.
I love it
that we're out there. So.
Yeah.
But, I guess the thing that ended up making the most sense was, I've been selling enough homes to go and qualify for Icon status pretty much out the gate. By my second year, I would have qualified for Icon over at my previous brokerage, and being compensated to essentially do what we're doing right here is give back to the folks that are out here. I've always loved being able to share what I've learned. And, Lord knows I've taken plenty of, I'm not the smartest dude in the room, but I like to be next to the smartest people in the room. And it's a collaborative effort. And this is something that's always been really nice to have. Yep. You're doing a great job leading the charge with some of these things out here for other people to be able to learn. And, we've been able to share all this stuff. So getting that money back in the stock award to be able to come back and, right now, like I said, knock on wood, if it stays where it's at, that's life-changing money for me. I
love that. Well, let's dive into that real fast. There might be some people in your market listening to this with your name and going, hey, what is this Icon Award? And people kind of sometimes hear misinformation about different companies. So I would love to dive into that. So how many years have you been at EXP now?
2 years, 8 months. I started January 1, 2018. And,
I love that. And how many times have you Icon since you've been here?
3.
So Icon 3 times. So let's go back to the first year you Icon. So for those that don't know, in your market, how many homes did you roughly have to sell to hit the Icon status with EXP roughly, based on your given?
I want to say 35.
Okay, cool. So once you hit that 35, EXP then gave you $16,000 worth of stock. Is that right?
It's changed over the years since we've been here. The first year was 12, and then you've got $2,000 each for going to a shareholders event and an EXPCon, which is the national convention that goes on. The 4,000 was actually just essentially given to you. So you got paid to go on vacation, to go and hang out with some other folks that were out there and be able to interact with other top level producers, to be able to be out there and share the wealth of what's going on, what helped me get to where I'm going and what's helped them get a little bit higher than where I'm at. So it's been really awesome experience to be able to do. Now they've restructured a little bit. Instead of 12, now it's 8, and then you can vet other icons, which is another learning opportunity for me to be able to get 4,000. It's 4,000 there, and another two each for the shareholders and the EXPCon right there. So it's there's a 3-year vesting period, which is one of the things that they actually yanked off of Keller Williams, which is a great model to be able to work. They've taken a good thing and made it just a little bit better. So.
I love that. And my guess is in 2018, when you got that free stock, $8,000 worth of stock at that time, you were able to triple and quadruple that into today's market just based on it sitting there.
I want to say, I'd have to go pull it up in my enterprise, but I want to say that stock at the time was like $8. So it's 5x today.
That's awesome. So basically, just from 1 year of being in real estate, selling 35 homes, which you have pretty much done since you got into the business, you've now made about $50,000 on that just by selling homes in 1 year.
Just selling houses. So what's really wild, I've participated in the 5% of your check for every commission check, and we've dumped in. We do almost 50 million a year every the last several years. And man, if I'd have been doing that way back when, that it's a nice. It's 5x. We're several $100,000 if I'd cashed it all out today. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's a game changer, man.
I love that. So what made you switch companies? Like, was it the stock? Was it the revenue share? Was it like, for a lot of people listening here, higher producers, they know a lot about EXP. Like for you as a high producer running a big team, why did you go, we're going away from the best known brand in our market?
So, I think one of the biggest things the biggest misconceptions out here, and where most EXP agents make a mistake, is that they talk about rev share and stock options, and it's not a tangible thing. And, I'm not a real big recruiter. I have 10 in my line. I don't really push too hard. I always wanted to be able to sell more homes, period. That's the only thing I really gave a crap about. And, KV Core and Sync at the time were two of the platforms that we were able to use. I was spending $1,200 a month just for the platform. That's now $50 with the technology fee, which is an instant savings to the bottom line. So I can take that money, dump it onto ad spend, and then voila, I'm already well ahead of the curve of what I was at. Even before, I wasn't on that same split. Everybody's got a cap. Everybody else had a cap. We didn't really have a cap over there, but we were the big dog in there. I'm loyal to a fault. So it was a really, really challenging. And a lot of heart-wrenching decisions that were going on because I liked everybody that I worked with, which was really difficult. You've had mentors over there that were very important to you, that were there for you when you weren't anything close to what the spot and the status that I've been now. And it was hard, man. That was probably the hardest part because I was so loyal and I just loved everybody over there. And it was just time to make a tough change. Man, I'm glad I did it.
No, I love that. So was the thing that kind of got you over the hump, was it just the financial bottom line of savings and the ability to build wealth?
That was a small part too. Being able to sell more houses was there. They were very flexible with me with how I wanted to market my team.
Okay.
My signs makes it look like, and I'm not sure where everybody else in the audience is going to be coming from. In Louisiana, you got to be 50-50 on your logo and the company logo. So we got it all approved by the state board to where the sign actually looks like my brand. So and we were able to capitalize on some more sign calls instead of just the name writer. My branch office is actually my old direct number. That was something that was very, I didn't realize that was going to be strategic at the time. We were using a company called Teletracker to track all of where the lead spins were. You hear a lot, you can't expect what you don't inspect. So you need to know where your funds are going to, where are driving revenue, so you can spend more money. So Teletracker kind of told me what those numbers happen to be. We pulled my old direct line, and we were able to record calls to make sure we were watching what was happening from a conversion standpoint on leads. And I was able to transfer that, and that was now my new direct number. So everything literally just shifted over perfectly.
I love that. So at the time when you shifted over, how big was your team in comparison to where it's at now and the number of people?
Roughly the same. We've had a couple people that have gone, on for greener pastures, but we've roughly stayed the same. So
okay, cool.
We were lean and mean. That's the goal. I don't like having, it's not my style, at least 50 to 100 people to go and manage. I want people that are out there grinding and want to do well and be successful and provide for their families, and I'll show them how to do that.
I love that. So for a lot of people listening here, they're like, man, I'm in the same position as you were, 8 years ago. We're looking to make a move, but they have a big team and they have some limiting beliefs around, is their team going to come with them? So talk to me, how did you transition your team? How did you keep them with you? And what picture did you paint to them to show how it was going to benefit them in the long run to make this jump?
Well, first off, that was a really big scare for me. What if you could what if yourself to death? We can what if yourself on whatever you end up working on from a marketing standpoint. But we all seem to think that whatever brand that's attached to our back or sign is what's the driving force. But we are the brand itself. So I'll pivot a little bit, but when we talk to the team members, I had a one-on-one meeting with everybody. My wife and I had a one-on-one meeting with everybody. We went through it, laid everything out. This is why we're doing it. This is what the options are for you. This is the ability for you to be able to make some income, the opportunity for you to make some extra income. We feel it's this, if you want to stay, great. If you want to come with us, we would love to have you, open arms. But, we ended up working it out and breaking it down to them where it ended up showing net dollar. There was no, they were end up going to be in a better place, making more money if they made the move, and we didn't change any splits or anything like that. So it was a win-win-win all the way across the board.
I love that. So how have you guys experienced any problem challenges, or has it not been a problem switching to a brand that probably wasn't really all that big in your guys' market?
We had about 100 people in EXP at the time, which it was starting to get going probably about 2014, 15, something like that. Had about 100 people. So people had heard about it. They hadn't heard about it, but there was, I think there was a little bit of hesitance of, maybe somebody didn't like this particular agent. Maybe they clashed heads or whatever. And, they didn't want the brand because of this, that, and the other. From a flow standpoint and an operations standpoint, my business has actually been easier to be able to manipulate because we got one broker for the entire state. I'm not responsible for everybody else anymore, which is another nice thing why I didn't end up being my own broker. But, if I had a question, I'd call. If I don't, just do what you need to do. We've, one of the things that I was never a big fan of, I had some crazy new marketing technique that I wanted to jump out, and I'd already approved it through the boss. I'd end up getting in trouble because somebody didn't think of it, or it's an attack against them, and everybody's got freaking hurt feelings, and got to fill out the old hurt feelings report. You know the drill. So.
Yep. No, I get that. I mean, so for you guys, you guys are basically running your own independent team type feeling of being able to keep your own branding, your marketing, and it really just looks, for your client facing, nothing but good things come out of that.
Well, that, I think a lot of times too, if you're doing your marketing right, most people don't realize what company you work for until you drive up to the listing and see what signs out in the yard. And you may see a sign writer that's out there. So it's all about, it's about the company. One of my mentors ended up telling me, when you're brand new, you make your company this big because they're the brand. And as you grow bigger, your brand gets bigger. There it goes smaller as long as you stay within the confines of the licensing law and you're where you need to be. So
I love that.
We did. They gave us enough room for me to be able to grow that brand, and then all of a sudden just switch that brand over. Now it's camouflaged in with EXP. Everything looks, it looks like my own thing, which is to me, it's actually better now than what it was before. So.
Yeah. No, I love that. So talk to me a little bit about the technology, because you came from a brokerage that was kind of a big, small mom and pop shop, very localized to the area. What has the technology been like since moving over? You talked about using Sync and KV Core, not having to pay for it all, but like for your admin staff and things like that, like how is their interaction with the brokers or the payment staff or your accounting department? Like how have they liked that move compared to where you guys were?
It's different. We were actually in the process of looking up SkySlope to just be able to keep track of the massive amount of contracts that we've got going on.
Yeah.
And, at the time, I want to say that was another $500 a month. And when you start running a team, it's very easy to be $299, $599, $100, $500, $1,500, $1,000 a month. It happens just like that.
Yep.
And it's a little bit of an adjustment, but I think once everybody got set up and were accustomed to messing with it, it ended up working out a little bit more. I do think that, what's nice is we actually have a set of, when you're working with EXP, you've got a second set of eyes on top of your admin that's, crossing T's, dotting I's. And, sometimes, one of the things I hear from time to time from other agents, if there's something to really pick on, is, man, they're being really nitpicky, but, they're saving you from being sued.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what the problem is. You got to, do your work right the first time and you'll be okay. It's fine. So.
No, I love that. I love that, man. So as we kind of wrap up here in the next few minutes, I have a question for you, because as someone is a top producer, and this is coming from my past, and why we asked this question is, a lot of people listening to this, whether they'll admit it or not, they might have a little bit of an ego. They might be not willing to look at something because they think that they're in the perfect situation now. So what would you tell someone that's kind of, maybe skeptical about the model and just hasn't even taken a look at it? What would you tell them if you were trying to recruit yourself again from, 10 years ago, of why they should at least take a look at this model?
Well, I think, when you're particularly, because I had a big ego too, and I got approached. If I didn't get approached 50 times, I didn't get approached once. And until it got brought up to me by somebody that was in my market that I had respected, and it was actually outside of my market. My mentor is out of Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. We had talked about it. He had an independent brokerage with 25, 30 people, and he made the move, and I was like, man, something's up. So it got my attention, and I actually started asking more questions. So most everybody, when you're selling, whether you're selling a house or you're selling a brokerage, you can't jump in with, hey, maybe about EXP, here's rev share, here's stock options, nobody gives a crap about any of that. And I think that, we kind of nibbled at that a little bit. I think everybody jumps in and vomits rev share and stocks, and it's not tangible. And I think rev share, the best way to explain it, what is that? That doesn't mean anything to anybody except being at EXP. And really all it is, to break it down as simple as I possibly can, is it's a small referral off of the company dollar that I'm paying EXP. And it goes 7 levels deep. And I hear the multi-level marketing all the time. This is one of my favorites. So when you mean to tell me that when you go to a restaurant, the owner of the restaurant is going to get paid, so is the cook, so is the waiter, so is the the person that's stocking the shelves and cleaning the the cups in the toilets. That's a pyramid, because there's somebody on top. All we're doing is selling houses, which I've always done. Now I'm just doing it with a different hat on than what I had on before.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. And oh, by the way, you will, if you do it right, they're paying you to be there, not the other way around.
No, I love that. And a lot of people are skeptical of that, because they're like, well,
how is that possible?
Yeah. How do they pay everybody to be there? But what they don't realize is when you're in the top few percents, you get the Icon Award. EXP is paying the top few percentage people to be there. They're not paying for the entire company to be there. However, it still makes financial sense for pretty much most of the people that I know to still take a look at the model, even if they're not recruiting, even if they're not selling a lot of homes, because everybody's just got a little bit of a different structure.
If you go down the recruit model and you do the 2 by 2 by 2, two agents every 2 years for 2 agents every year for the next 5 years, you're going to be making 6 figures.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's I don't care what market you're in. 6 figures is it's a nice little extra income for you.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah. Well, I love that, man. Well, what's your guys' goals on the horizon? Any big moves coming up next, or are you guys just focused on breaking some barriers each and every year? What's 2020/2021 look like for you?
Well, man, we're in the middle of buying a new office building, so I still do. I have a little bit of old school in me. I like having the culture and all that other fun stuff that's attached to having an office. But we've got something that's set up for office. My wife does design work, so she's going to be doing some design and maybe house a little staging furniture in there, which is another income opportunity for the listing side. Which, as we all know, that's a needed service in most markets. Whether you got 2 months of inventory or you got 20, so
I love that.
It's definitely something that's needed. So we're trying to piggyback on that opportunity. We're renovating that, so I'm really excited about getting that going and. All kinds of stuff, man. We've been.
So Robbie, you're telling me you can have office space at EXP. Did I hear that right?
You can actually own your own office at EXP and still I could actually pay for the office cash.
That's awesome.
That just off of and look, if somebody came in today, we're like, oh yeah, well you were at 5, now it's at 40, whatever, I'm not sitting here and telling you if you join that you're going to be at $200 a share. That's not necessarily realistic, but anything that's a gain ends up working out. Can you guarantee a gain? No. Can you guarantee a loss? No. So, but I do know that the ability to go and show other folks what's happened and the opportunity that was brought over to me, that, man, it's awesome. I ain't going anywhere. You're gonna have to kill me to get me out of this place. So.
I love that, man. I love that. I'm glad we were able to connect with you. You guys are, in a market where it's grown exponentially, and it's just been cool to watch and see. And so just kind of on a side note here, you kind of briefly mentioned where you're from. What are the main markets you guys serve for anybody listening here? If they got referrals, what part of Louisiana do you guys touch?
So if everybody's watched Waterboy, we're south middle of the boot. The guys that talk like the farmer, I know people that talk like that. So you can understand them a little bit better. But anyway, so Lafayette, Karen Crow, Scott, Dusson, Breaux Bridge, Youngsville, Broussard, we handle all those. So looking forward to helping and giving great service to anybody that's got somebody out there for us to be able to help them out. And we, of course, we do love you back and keep you informed all along the way. So we want to make sure that your investment's protected by using us. So.
I love that. Well, you guys, we'll have Robbie's team's information down below on the video, so please feel free to reach that. And now, Robbie, if anybody's listening around the country and they're like, I like that guy's energy, I like his style, and I want to align with him at EXP, like, can they get a hold of you via phone, text? Is that all a great place where they can learn more about what that looks like for you?
Absolutely. 337-658-5690. You can email me, Robbie at robbiebreaux.com. That's BREAUX.
Perfect, man. Well, if you guys are listening and you guys got referrals or you're even looking to join EXP, whether you're in his area, I mean, you probably even outside your area, man, right? If they're in Ohio, New York, Florida, Alaska, they can still, heck, Mexico now, right? Anybody can join you from around the world.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, I just want to say I appreciate your time. I know you guys just got hit with the storm last week, so prayers with everybody out there. If you guys need anything, please let us know, but we appreciate you taking time out of your busy week to share with everybody listening here today.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Of course. Thanks, man. Well, with that being said, guys, signing off from the Icon Podcast. As always, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Until then, have a great week.